The coffee cup hit the floor. Margaret Thompson didn't hear it shatter. She couldn't hear anything except the blood rushing in her ears. Her phone screen showed her daughter in a wedding dress. White lace, professional photos. Olivia was kissing a man in a tuxedo. Behind them stood people Margaret didn't recognize. Well, she recognized two of them, Patricia and Gerald Martinez, Ryan's parents. The caption said, "Forever starts today. Grateful for our families who made this perfect." Families, plural. Margaret scrolled down. 39 comments, 42 likes. People congratulating her daughter on a wedding Margaret knew nothing about. Her hands started shaking. The photo blurred. She'd raised Olivia alone for 29 years, worked 2 jobs, saved every dollar for this exact moment, for her daughter's wedding, and she'd found out about it on Instagram on a Tuesday morning while drinking coffee in her kitchen. If you want to see what happens when a mother finally stops waiting to be valued, hit that subscribe button right now. This story is going to take you places you won't expect. Drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from because I want to see how far Margaret's story travels. Now, let's get into what happened next. Margaret's thumb moved before her brain caught up. She zoomed in on the photo, then zoomed in more. Olivia's dress probably cost thousands. The venue had vineyards in the background. The flowers were white roses, expensive ones. Patricia Martinez wore pearls in a suit that screamed money. Gerald had on a tuxedo. This wasn't some courthouse quickie. This was planned. Margaret scrolled through more photos. The ceremony, the reception, Olivia cutting cake, Olivia dancing, Olivia throwing a bouquet, a whole wedding, start to finish. And Margaret had been nowhere near it. Her chest got tight. She couldn't breathe right. She grabbed the edge of the table and tried to force air into her lungs. "No," she whispered. "No, this isn't real." But it was real. The photos were time-stamped yesterday, Sunday. While Margaret had been at church praying for her daughter's happiness, Olivia had been getting married. Margaret grabbed her phone and called. 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings, 4 rings. "Hi, this is Olivia. Leave a message, and I'll get back to you soon." Margaret hung up, called again immediately. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. Her hands were shaking so hard, she almost dropped the phone. She called a 4th time, a 5th time. On the 6th try, she left a message. Her voice came out broken. "Olivia, it's Mom. I saw the photos. You looked beautiful, honey. So beautiful. Can you please call me? I just want to hear your voice. I love you." She set the phone down, stared at it, willed it to ring. It didn't. Margaret stood up, sat back down, stood up again. She couldn't stay still. Energy was crackling through her body, but she had nowhere to put it. She walked to Olivia's old bedroom, the one she'd kept the same for 5 years. She went straight to the dresser and picked up a framed photo. Olivia at 7, gap-toothed smile, holding a sign that said first day of 2nd grade. "You promised," Margaret said to the photo. "You promised me I'd be there." The memory hit her hard. Olivia was 8 years old. They'd been watching some romantic movie. During the wedding scene, Olivia had turned to her. "Mommy, when I get married, you'll walk me down the aisle right like a daddy would." Margaret had pulled her close. "Of course, baby. Of course I will. Promise. I promise. Good, because you're the most important person in my whole life. I'm never getting married without you there. Never, ever. Margaret's phone buzzed. She ran back to the kitchen so fast she nearly tripped. A text message. Olivia. Mom, I'm fine. We'll talk later. Don't make this a big deal. Margaret read it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Don't make this a big deal. Her daughter got married without telling her, and Margaret wasn't supposed to make it a big deal. She typed back with shaking fingers. You got married without telling me. How is this not a big deal? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again, disappeared. Finally, I explained everything already. Margaret scrolled frantically through their texts. 3 weeks ago. There it was. Olivia had written, Ryan and I are thinking about doing something low-key, maybe just immediate family. Margaret had responded, that sounds nice. Let me know how I can help. I've been saving money for your wedding, Olivia's reply. Thanks, Mom. We've got it covered. We'll let you know what we decide. That was it. That was the only mention of wedding plans. And apparently, Olivia thought that counted as informing her mother. Margaret's phone rang. Olivia's name lit up the screen. She answered immediately. Hello. Hey, Mom. Olivia sounded casual, almost cheerful. Listen, I know you're probably confused, but it all happened really fast. We got this last-minute opening at an amazing venue in Napa Valley, and Ryan's parents had connections, and we just went for it. It was thrown together in like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Margaret's voice sounded hollow. I know, crazy, right? But Mom, it was perfect. So intimate and meaningful. I wasn't there. Silence. Mom, I told you we wanted to keep it small. Small doesn't mean without your mother, Olivia. It wasn't personal. It was literally just Ryan's parents as witnesses. Super tiny. Just us 4 and the officiant. Margaret pulled up Instagram again. The photos show at least 20 people. Pause. Okay. Well, some of Ryan's extended family happened to be in Napa, so they dropped by. But it wasn't planned. Why couldn't I have dropped by? Mom, don't make this about you. This was my wedding day. Mine and Ryan's. I raised you alone for 29 years. I know that, and I appreciate everything you did, but this was about Ryan and me starting our future together. It wasn't about the past. The words hit like a slap. The past. Is that what I am to you? That's not what I meant. You're twisting everything. Then what did you mean? I meant that Ryan and I wanted to focus on our future without a bunch of drama and expectations, and Olivia stopped. And what? Nothing. Look, we're back tomorrow. We'll come see you around 5. We brought gifts. We'll show you pictures. Okay. Olivia, someone's at the door. Gotta go. Love you. Bye. The line went dead. Margaret stood there holding the phone. Her whole body felt numb. She walked to the bathroom and looked at herself in the mirror. 65 years old, gray hair, lines around her eyes from decades of worry, hands rough from cleaning other people's homes. This was who her daughter was ashamed of. Margaret's phone rang again. She grabbed it, hoping it was Olivia calling back to apologize. It wasn't. Margaret, it's Helen Crawford from down the street. Margaret's neighbor, the one who loved gossip. Hi, Helen. Oh, sweetie, I just saw Olivia's wedding photos on Facebook. They're gorgeous. I didn't know you were going to Napa Valley. How was it? You must be exhausted from all the celebrating. Margaret's stomach dropped. I didn't go, Helen. What? What do you mean you didn't go? I wasn't invited. The silence on Helen's end was louder than any response could have been. Oh, oh my. Margaret, I'm so sorry. I just assumed. I mean, you're her mother. Of course you'd be there. There must be some mistake. There's no mistake, Helen. She didn't want me there. But that's impossible. You've done everything for that girl. Everything. I know. Helen made sympathetic noises for a few more minutes before getting off the phone. Margaret knew what would happen next. Helen would tell everyone on the block. By tomorrow, all the neighbors would know that Margaret Thompson hadn't been invited to her own daughter's wedding. The humiliation of it hit her like a wave. She sat down at the kitchen table. The coffee from this morning was still spilled on the floor. She'd forgotten to clean it up. She should clean it up. She should make dinner. She should do something normal. Something to make this day feel less like her world was ending. Instead, she sat there, and she started remembering. Olivia at 5, pneumonia. Margaret stayed awake for 15 straight nights in a chair next to her bed, missing work, missing paychecks, but never missing a moment with her sick baby. Olivia at 10, crying because kids made fun of her old clothes. Margaret worked double shifts for 3 months and sold her wedding ring to buy new outfits. Olivia at 16, wanting a sweet 16 party. Margaret worked herself to exhaustion for a year to rent a venue, hire a DJ, buy a beautiful dress. That night, Olivia had hugged her and said, "This is the best night of my life, Mommy. I'll remember this forever." Olivia at 22, college graduation. Margaret in the audience crying. After the ceremony, Olivia found her and squeezed her tight. "I couldn't have done this without you, Mom. You're my hero." Margaret's phone buzzed. A text from her sister Ruth in Seattle. Ruth. "Maggie, I just saw Olivia's wedding photos on FB. Why didn't you tell me about it?" I would have driven down. Margaret's fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then she typed, "I didn't know about it either." Her phone rang immediately. Ruth. "What do you mean you didn't know? I found out this morning on Instagram. Are you telling me that girl got married and didn't even tell her own mother?" "Yes, that ungrateful little—" Ruth stopped herself. "Maggie, I'm coming down there." "I'm getting in the car right now." "No, don't. I'm fine." "You're not fine? Nobody's fine after something like this." "Ruth, please. I just need time to think." Ruth was quiet for a moment. "Have you talked to her? Briefly?" "She said it was last minute, that it was small, that I shouldn't make it a big deal." "Not make it a big deal." "Margaret, you worked yourself to the bone for that child. You gave her everything." "I know. So, what are you going to do?" Margaret had no answer. That night, Margaret couldn't sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Around 2 a.m., she got up and went to Olivia's room again. She opened the closet. In the back, she found a box of Olivia's old things: school projects, birthday cards, letters. She pulled out a piece of pink paper. Olivia's handwriting from age 18. Little hearts drawn in the margins. "Dearest Mom, tomorrow I start college. but I want you to know that everything I achieve will be because of you. You're my hero, my role model, the bravest woman I know. When I grow up, I want to be a mother just like you, loving, sacrificing, always putting family first. I love you with all my heart, and you will always be the most important person in my life. Love forever, your Liv. Margaret read it until the words blurred. Then she carefully folded it and put it back in the box. She went back to bed, but didn't sleep. By Wednesday morning, Margaret felt like she'd been run over. She called Mrs. Hartwell and said she had the flu. It wasn't a lie. She felt sick, sick to her stomach, sick to her soul. She spent the day on the couch. She tried to watch TV, tried to read, tried to do anything that would stop her brain from replaying Olivia's words over and over. It wasn't about the past. Don't make this about you. We've got it covered. Around noon, Margaret's phone buzzed. A Facebook notification. Someone had tagged her in a comment on Olivia's wedding photo. She opened it. It was Olivia's friend from college, someone named Ashley, at Margaret Thompson. So sorry you couldn't make it. Olivia told us you had a prior commitment you couldn't get out of. Hope you're feeling better. Margaret stared at the comment. Read it again and again. Olivia had lied. She'd told people Margaret couldn't come, that she'd had a conflict, not that she wasn't invited, that she'd chosen not to be there. Margaret's hands started shaking again, but this time it wasn't from sadness. It was from rage, pure, white-hot rage. She clicked on Olivia's profile, scrolled through the photos again. This time she looked at the dates more carefully. The engagement party photos. 3 months ago. Margaret hadn't been invited to that either. The bridal shower photos. 6 weeks ago. Margaret hadn't known there was a shower. The bachelorette party. 1 month ago. Napa Valley. Same location as the wedding. This wasn't last minute. This was planned. Meticulously planned. For months. And Margaret had been deliberately excluded from all of it. She grabbed her phone and called Olivia. It went straight to voicemail. She didn't leave a message. She hung up and called again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. She sent a text, I need to talk to you now. No response. Margaret threw her phone onto the couch. She paced the living room. Her heart was pounding. Her hands were shaking. She felt like she was going to explode. She went to the kitchen and opened the cabinet under the sink. She pulled out cleaning supplies. She scrubbed the floor where the coffee had spilled. She scrubbed it until her arms hurt. Then she scrubbed the counter, the stove, the refrigerator, the cabinets. She scrubbed until she was exhausted, until she couldn't think anymore, until her hands were raw. When she finally stopped, the kitchen was spotless, and she still felt like her life was falling apart. Thursday crawled by. Margaret didn't eat, didn't answer the phone, didn't leave the house. She just waited. Friday afternoon at 4:55, the doorbell rang. Margaret had spent hours cleaning, making tea, buying pastries from the bakery Olivia used to love, setting out her nicest glasses. Even after everything, she was still trying to please her daughter. She opened the door. Olivia looked amazing, tanned, glowing, wearing designer clothes Margaret had never seen. Ryan stood behind her holding a shopping bag. He looked uncomfortable. Mom, Olivia breezed in and hugged Margaret. It's so good to see you. Look at my tan. Margaret hugged her back. Olivia smelled like expensive perfume. Everything about her was different. Polished, perfect, unreachable. Come in, I made tea. They sat in the living room. Margaret poured tea into the glasses she'd washed 3 times. She offered pastries. Olivia took one but barely touched it. So, Margaret said, tell me about Napa. Olivia's face lit up. For 30 minutes she talked. The resort, the wine tastings, the dinners at restaurants Margaret couldn't afford, the spa treatments, the couples massages. Ryan added comments about wine vintages and investment portfolios. Margaret sat there, nodded, smiled, died inside. And the wedding, she finally asked. Olivia and Ryan exchanged a look. It was beautiful, Mom. So simple and elegant, just us and Ryan's parents in this gorgeous little chapel. The officiant was incredible. She said the most beautiful things about love and partnership. It sounds lovely. It was perfect. Margaret set down her tea glass. I wish I could have been there. I know, Mom, but like I said, it happened so fast. Olivia, Margaret's voice was steady. I saw photos from your engagement party 3 months ago. I saw photos from your bridal shower 6 weeks ago. I saw photos from your bachelorette party in Napa 1 month ago. This wasn't last minute. Olivia's face went pale. Ryan shifted in his seat. Mom, those were just small things. Stop lying to me. The room went silent. I'm not lying. You are. You've been planning this wedding for months. You had an engagement party, a shower, a bachelorette trip. You told people I couldn't come because of a prior commitment. You made me look like I chose not to be there. Olivia's jaw tightened. Fine. You want the truth. Yes, we planned it. Yes, it took time. And yes, we decided to keep it intimate. Why? Because, Olivia's voice rose, because I wanted my wedding day to be about me and Ryan, not about managing your feelings, not about explaining our choices, not about you crying and making everything emotional. Margaret felt like she'd been punched. Making everything emotional? Ryan stood up. Mrs. Thompson, maybe we should sit down, Ryan. Margaret's voice was hard. This concerns you too. You agreed to exclude me. You let your parents be there, but not me. So sit down and own it. Ryan sat. Margaret turned back to Olivia. I worked 2 jobs for you. I cleaned houses so you could go to college. I saved every dollar so you could have the life I never had. And you repaid me by being ashamed of me. I'm not ashamed. Yes, you are. You're ashamed that I'm a housekeeper. You're ashamed that I don't have money. You're ashamed that I don't fit into your new perfect life with Ryan and his fancy parents. Mom, that's not fair. You know what's not fair. Finding out your daughter got married on Instagram. That's not fair. Olivia grabbed her purse. This was a mistake. Come on, Ryan. We're leaving. Wait. Ryan reached into the shopping bag. We got you gifts. He pulled out a t-shirt that said, I love Napa, a box of chocolate and a bottle of wine. They set them on the coffee table like peace offerings. Margaret looked at the gifts. Airport purchases, last-minute thoughts. Thank you, she said quietly. That was very thoughtful. But it wasn't thoughtful. It was guilt masquerading as kindness. Mom, Olivia said, her voice softer now. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry it happened this way. Can we just move past this? Move past it how? by pretending it didn't hurt, by accepting that sometimes things don't go the way we planned. This wasn't about things not going as planned, Olivia. This was a choice. You chose to exclude me, and now you want me to accept it and move on like nothing happened. Olivia's face hardened. You know what? Yes, I want you to move on, because dwelling on this isn't going to change anything. You're right, Margaret said. It won't change anything, but it changed me. What does that mean? It means I finally see who you really are, and I finally see who I've been, and I don't like either one of us. Olivia stared at her. So what now? You're going to punish me by being dramatic? No, I'm going to stop waiting for you to value me. I do value you. No, you don't. If you valued me, I would have been at your wedding, but I wasn't. So now you know where we stand. Ryan pulled Olivia toward the door. We should go. Let everyone cool down. At the door, Olivia turned back. I love you, Mom. I love you too, baby. But love isn't enough anymore. The door closed. Margaret stood in her living room surrounded by untouched tea and pastries and cheap souvenirs. She didn't cry. She was done crying. She walked to her bedroom, sat on the edge of the bed, and said out loud to the empty room, I'm done. She picked up her phone and called Ruth. Maggie, you okay? No, but I'm going to be. I need your help. I'm going to change my life, and I don't know where to start. Ruth was quiet for a beat. Then, it's about damn time. Tell me what you need. And as Margaret started talking, started imagining a life that didn't revolve around waiting for Olivia's approval, she felt something shift inside her. Not hope that Olivia would change, hope that she could. The story was just beginning. Ruth's voice came through the phone sharp and clear. First thing tomorrow morning, you're going to do 3 things. Write them down. Margaret grabbed a pen and an old notepad from the kitchen drawer. Her hands were steadier than they'd been in days. 1. You check your bank accounts. All of them. I want you to see exactly what you have. 2. You call a lawyer. A good one. 3. You stop answering Olivia's calls until you've figured out what you want. Not what she wants. What you want. Ruth, I don't even know what I want. Yes, you do. You just haven't let yourself think about it because you spent 65 years thinking about everyone else first. Margaret pressed the pen against the paper. I'm scared. Good. Being scared means you're about to do something brave. After they hung up, Margaret sat at the kitchen table until past midnight. She made lists, crossed things out, made new lists. By the time she finally went to bed, she had a plan, or at least the beginning of one. Saturday morning, she woke up at 6. She made coffee and sat down with her laptop. She hadn't checked her bank accounts in months. She always just made sure there was enough for bills and groceries and saved the rest. She logged into her savings account first. The number on the screen made her blink. She refreshed the page thinking it was wrong. $127,000. Margaret stared at it. She'd been saving for 30 years, putting away whatever she could, but she'd never actually calculated the total. She just kept adding to it, thinking of it as Olivia's money, wedding money, emergency money, future money. She clicked on the second account, the secret one she'd opened 15 years ago when she started baking pies on weekends and selling them at the farmer's market. She'd never told Olivia about this account. She wanted it to be a surprise, a gift. $175,000. Margaret sat back in her chair. $175,000 in liquid savings, plus the house which a neighbor's realtor had casually mentioned was worth at least $400,000 in Portland's market. She wasn't poor. She'd been living like someone with nothing while sitting on over $500,000 in assets. "What have I been doing?" she said out loud to the empty kitchen. She'd been waiting, saving, preparing to give it all away to a daughter who didn't even want her at her own wedding. Her phone buzzed. A text from Olivia. Olivia. "Hey, Mom. Just checking in. You seemed really upset yesterday. Are you feeling better?" Margaret stared at the message. Olivia was checking in the way you check on a sick dog. Casual. Obligatory. She set the phone face down and didn't respond. Instead, she opened her laptop again and searched for lawyers in Portland. She found one with good reviews. David Chin, specialized in estate planning and family law. His office was open on Saturdays. She called. "Chin Law Offices, this is David Chin speaking." "Mr. Chin, my name is Margaret Thompson. I need to update my will. How soon can I see you? I have an opening this afternoon at 2. Does that work? I'll be there." After she hung up, Margaret went to Olivia's old room. She opened the closet and pulled out boxes of childhood memories. Report cards, art projects, birthday cards Margaret had saved. She found a birthday card from Olivia's 21st birthday. It had a photo of them together on the front. Inside, Olivia had written, "To the best mom in the universe. Thank you for sacrificing everything so I could have everything. I'll spend the rest of my life making you proud. Love you more than words can say." Margaret set it aside. She kept digging. She found another card from Olivia's 25th birthday. The handwriting was different, neater, more formal. "Happy birthday, Mom. Thanks for the gift. Love, Olivia." That was it. No personal message, no inside jokes, just a generic thank you. When had it changed? Margaret pulled out her phone and opened her text history with Olivia. She scrolled back, way back. 2 years ago, their texts were frequent, multiple times a day. Olivia sharing photos of her lunch, asking for recipe advice, sending funny memes. Then something shifted. The texts became shorter, less frequent, more transactional. "Can you send me Dad's old tax documents? Do you have Aunt Claire's phone number? I need the name of that dentist you used to take me to." Margaret kept scrolling. She found a conversation from 18 months ago. "Margaret, want to come over for Sunday dinner? I'm making your favorite pot roast. Olivia." "Can't this week. Ryan and I have plans with his parents." Margaret. "Next week then." Olivia. "I'll let you know." She never did let her know. Margaret found another exchange. 15 months ago. Margaret. "I saw the cutest baby clothes at Target today. Made me think about future grandbabies." Olivia. "Mom, please don't start with the grandkid pressure. Ryan and I aren't even engaged yet." Margaret. "I know, honey. I was just being silly. Love you." No response. Margaret's chest tightened. She kept reading, kept finding evidence of a relationship slowly dying, and she'd been too blind to see it. Her phone rang. Olivia. Margaret let it go to voicemail. It rang again immediately. Voicemail. A text came through. Olivia. "Mom, why aren't you answering? I'm getting worried." Margaret typed back, "I'm fine, just busy." Olivia. "Busy with what?" Margaret stared at the question. Busy with what? as if Margaret couldn't possibly have anything important to do, as if her entire existence revolved around being available for Olivia. She didn't respond. At 2 o'clock, Margaret walked into David Chen's office. He was younger than she expected, maybe 45. Kind eyes. Firm handshake. "Mrs. Thompson, please have a seat. You mentioned updating your will. Yes, I need to make some significant changes." "All right, let's start with your current will. Who are your primary beneficiaries?" "My daughter Olivia. She gets everything. And you want to change that." Margaret took a deep breath. "I want to leave 60% of my estate to charity, organizations that help single mothers, and 40% to Olivia, but with a condition." David Chen pulled out a legal pad. "What kind of condition?" "She can only access her inheritance after she writes a letter. A letter explaining why she made certain decisions about our relationship, specifically why she excluded me from her wedding. She doesn't have to apologize. She just has to be honest about her reasons. The letter gets delivered to you as witness. She has to write it whether I'm alive or dead." David Chen nodded slowly. "That's an unusual condition, but it's legal." "May I ask why?" "Because I want her to think about her choices. Really think. Not just move on and forget like nothing happened." "I understand." He started writing. "Now, let's talk about your other assets. Do you own property?" "A house. Free and clear. Worth about 400,000. "And you want that included in the estate." Margaret hesitated. Then she said something that surprised even herself. "No, I want to sell it." David Chen looked up. "Sell it?" "Yes. I'm going to sell the house and move. Start over somewhere new." "May I ask why?" "Because every corner of that house reminds me of a life I don't want to live anymore." David Chen smiled. It wasn't a lawyer smile. It was a human smile. "Good for you, Mrs. Thompson." They spent the next hour going through paperwork. By the time Margaret left, she felt lighter, like she'd been carrying a weight she didn't know was there, and someone had finally lifted it off her shoulders. She drove home and immediately called a realtor, the same one her neighbor Helen had mentioned last year, Sandra Mitchell. "Sandra, this is Margaret Thompson. Helen Crawford's neighbor. I'm interested in selling my house." "Oh, Margaret, I'd be happy to help." "When were you thinking of listing?" "As soon as possible." "All right. I can come by tomorrow morning for an assessment if that works." "That works." After she hung up, Margaret sat in her car in the driveway. She looked at the house she'd lived in for 28 years, the house where she'd raised Olivia, where she'd buried her grief after Robert died, where she'd built a life out of nothing but determination and love. She didn't feel sad about leaving. She felt relieved. Her phone rang. Olivia again. This time, Margaret answered. "Mom, finally, I've been calling all day. Where have you been?" "Out, running errands." "What kind of errands?" "Personal ones." Silence. Olivia wasn't used to Margaret being vague. "Okay. Well, Ryan and I wanted to invite you to dinner next Friday. Nothing fancy, just the three of us. We thought it might be nice to spend some quality time together." "I'll have to check my schedule." "Your schedule?" Olivia laughed. "Mom, since when do you have a schedule?" "Since I started living my own life." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I'll let you know about Friday." "Mom, are you still upset about the wedding? Because I thought we moved past that." "You moved past it, Olivia. I didn't. I'm still processing the fact that my daughter got married without me." Oh my God, are you going to hold this over my head forever? No, but I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen either. This is ridiculous. I already apologized. No, you didn't. You explained. You justified. You told me I was overreacting, but you never actually said you were sorry. Fine, I'm sorry. There. Happy now? No, because you don't mean it. Olivia made an exasperated sound. What do you want from me, Mom? I want you to understand that what you did hurt me, really hurt me, and I want you to care about that. I do care. Then show me. Not with dinner invitations and gifts. Show me by treating me with respect. I do respect you. Do you? Because respect means including someone in important moments. It means being honest. It means not making someone feel like they're a burden. I never said you were a burden. You didn't have to say it, Olivia. Your actions said it loud and clear. There was a long pause. Then Olivia's voice came back cold. I think you need some space. Call me when you're ready to be rational. She hung up. Margaret sat there holding the phone. She waited for the tears to come, the guilt, the need to call back and apologize. But nothing came. She just felt tired. Sunday morning, Sandra, the realtor, came by at 9. She walked through the house with a tablet taking notes and photos. Margaret, this house is going to sell fast. The neighborhood is hot right now. I'd estimate you'll get at least 420, maybe 450. How long until closing? If we list this week, I'd say you could close in 30 to 45 days. Let's do it. Sandra smiled. Great. I'll have the paperwork ready by tomorrow. After Sandra left, Margaret started packing. She went through closets and drawers and cabinets. She threw away anything she hadn't used in years. She donated bags of clothes and kitchen items and books. She found a box in the back of her closet. Inside were wedding invitations she'd collected over the years. Ideas for Olivia's future wedding. Different styles, different colors, different venues. She'd been planning her daughter's wedding since Olivia was 10 years old. Margaret carried the box to the recycling bin and dumped it all in. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. She opened it. It was a screenshot, a group chat conversation. The contact names were visible at the top. Olivia, Ashley, Jennifer, and someone named Becca. The timestamp was from 4 months ago. Ashley, have you told your mom about the engagement party yet? Olivia, no, I'm not inviting her. Jennifer, what? Why not? Olivia, because she'll make it weird. She'll cry and make everything about her and I just can't deal with that. Becca, but it's your mom. Won't she be upset? Olivia, she'll get over it. She always does. Ashley, what about the wedding? Olivia, same thing. Ryan's parents are paying for everything anyway. His mom has really specific ideas about what she wants. It's easier to just keep it small and deal with my mom after. Jennifer, Liv, that seems really harsh. Olivia, you don't understand. My mom she's a lot. She's clingy. She's always been too involved in my life. This is my chance to have something that's just mine and Ryan's. Ashley, if you say so, but I think you're going to regret this. It's Olivia. I won't. Trust me. Margaret read the conversation 3 times. Her hands were shaking, but her mind was clear. Olivia hadn't excluded her because it was last minute. She'd excluded her because Margaret was a lot, because she was clingy, because including her would be weird. A text came through from the unknown number. Mrs. Thompson, this is Ashley, Olivia's friend from college. I'm so sorry. I thought you knew about all of this. When I realized you didn't, I felt sick. You deserve better. I'm sorry I didn't say something sooner. Margaret typed back. Thank you for showing me this. It helps to know the truth. Ashley. For what it's worth, some of us told her she was wrong, but Olivia can be stubborn. Margaret didn't respond. She just sat there looking at the words. She'll get over it. She always does. That was the problem, wasn't it? Margaret had always gotten over it, always accepted whatever treatment Olivia gave, always made excuses, always put Olivia's feelings above her own. Well, not anymore. Margaret forwarded the screenshot to Ruth with a message. This is what my daughter really thinks of me. Ruth called immediately. Maggie, are you okay? I'm better than okay. I'm done making excuses for her. What are you going to do? I'm selling the house. I'm moving. I'm changing my will, and I'm living the rest of my life for me. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me too. They talked for another hour. Ruth told her about a senior living community in Lake Oswego, active adults, activities every day, a real community. I'll look into it, Margaret said. After they hung up, Margaret opened her laptop and searched for Riverside Senior Living Community. The website showed beautiful grounds, comfortable apartments, and happy residents. She called and scheduled a tour for Monday. Then she did something she'd never done before. She blocked Olivia's number. Not forever, just for now. Just until she figured out who Margaret Thompson was without being Olivia's mother. Her phone rang immediately from a different number, Ryan's. She didn't answer. A voicemail came through. She listened. Mrs. Thompson, this is Ryan. Olivia's really upset. She says you're not answering her calls. I know things have been tense, but she's your daughter. Don't you think you're being a little immature about this? Margaret deleted the voicemail. Immature. She was being immature for having feelings, for having boundaries, for refusing to accept being treated poorly. Well, if that was immature, then maybe it was time to be immature. The rest of Sunday passed in a blur of packing and planning. By evening, Margaret had filled 15 boxes. She'd scheduled movers for 2 weeks out. She'd researched senior living communities. She'd started imagining a life that didn't revolve around waiting for Olivia's approval. Monday morning, she went to the tour at Riverside. The moment she walked through the door, something clicked. The woman at the front desk smiled warmly. You must be Margaret. I'm Patricia. Welcome to Riverside. Patricia showed her around. The dining hall, the activity rooms, the gardens, the apartments. We have yoga on Mondays, Patricia explained. Painting on Tuesdays. Book club Wednesdays. Dance class Thursdays. Movie nights Fridays. And weekend trips to the coast, the mountains, wherever people want to go. Dance class? Margaret asked. Oh yes, ballroom dancing. It's one of our most popular activities. Mr. Sanchez teaches. He's wonderful. Half our residents had never danced before moving here. Margaret tried to remember the last time she'd danced. Her wedding, 37 years ago. Can I see an apartment? Patricia showed her a one-bedroom on the second floor. Windows overlooked the garden. The kitchen was small but efficient. The bathroom was modern. The bedroom had space for her bed and not much else. It was perfect. How much? Margaret asked. Patricia told her. It was significant. But with her savings and selling the house, she could easily afford it for the rest of her life. I'll take it. Patricia blinked. Don't you want to think about it? Discuss it with family. No, I'll take it. What do I need to do? Patricia smiled. All right then. Let's get you started. By the time Margaret left Riverside, she signed a lease. She paid first and last month. She scheduled her move-in for 3 weeks out. She sat in her car in the parking lot and called Ruth. I did it. I signed a lease. I'm moving. Ruth laughed. You're really doing this. I'm really doing this. How do you feel? Margaret thought about it. Free. I feel free. That night, her doorbell rang. She looked through the peephole. Olivia and Ryan stood on the porch. Margaret didn't open the door. Olivia knocked. Mom, I know you're home. Your car's in the driveway. Open up. Margaret stood there silently. Mom, please. We need to talk. You can't just ignore me forever. Margaret walked away from the door. She went to her bedroom and closed the door. Olivia kept knocking for 10 more minutes. Then she heard them leave. Her phone buzzed. Ryan's number. Mrs. Thompson, this is unacceptable. Olivia's your daughter. You need to talk to her. Margaret blocked Ryan's number too. Tuesday morning, she woke up to 17 missed calls and 23 text messages, all from numbers she didn't recognize. Olivia must have gotten friends to contact her. Margaret blocked every single one. Then she got up, made coffee, and started packing Olivia's childhood room. It was time to let go of the past. All of it. The Margaret who had waited and hoped and accepted anything was gone. Someone new was being born. Someone who finally understood that respect isn't optional, that love without dignity isn't love at all, and that sometimes the bravest thing a mother can do is let her daughter go. By Wednesday, the for sale sign was in Margaret's front yard. She watched from the kitchen window as neighbors walked by and stared. Some took photos with their phones. Helen Crawford knocked on the door within an hour. Margaret, can I come in? Margaret opened the door but didn't invite her past the threshold. Helen, I saw the sign. You're really selling? Yes, but where will you go? This is your home. I'm moving to Lake Oswego, a senior living community. Helen's eyes widened. One of those retirement places, Margaret, you're not that old. And you're healthy. Why would you do that? Because I want to. But what about Olivia? Does she know? Not yet. Helen lowered her voice. Margaret, I know what happened with the wedding. Everyone does. But surely you two can work this out. She's your only child. That's exactly why I'm leaving Helen. Because being someone's only parent doesn't mean anything if they don't value you. Helen opened her mouth, closed it, then walked away without another word. Margaret's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Mrs. Thompson, this is Patricia Martinez. Margaret's grip tightened on the phone. Ryan's mother. Mrs. Martinez. Please call me Patricia. I'm calling because I owe you an apology. Margaret sat down. An apology. Yes, I found out yesterday that you weren't at the wedding because you weren't invited. Ovia told us you had a family emergency and couldn't make it. She said you'd given her your blessing to go ahead without you. Margaret's heart started pounding. She told you I couldn't come. Yes, Gerald and I thought it was so gracious of you to encourage them to proceed despite your absence. We had no idea You weren't invited at all. I'm horrified, Mrs. Thompson. Truly horrified. Did you know about the engagement party? The bridal shower? Patricia was quiet for a moment. I knew about those events, yes. Olivia said you were helping plan them but couldn't attend due to work commitments. Oh God. You didn't know about those either, did you? No? Mrs. Thompson, I am so deeply sorry. If I'd known the truth, I would have insisted you be there. A wedding without the bride's mother is unthinkable. I don't know what Olivia was thinking. She was thinking I'd be an embarrassment. That's absurd. Why would she think that? Because I clean houses for a living, Patricia. Because I don't have money or education or the right kind of background for your family. Mrs. Thompson, my husband came to this country with nothing. He washed dishes for 10 years before he could afford his first restaurant. I grew up in a 3-room apartment with 7 siblings. We don't look down on honest work. Never. Margaret felt something crack open in her chest. Olivia told me you wanted a small wedding, that it was your idea to keep it intimate. That's a lie. We offered to pay for whatever wedding they wanted, big or small. We would have been honored to have you there as the mother of the bride. Why are you telling me this? Because it's the truth, and because I have a daughter of my own. If she ever treated me the way Olivia has treated you, I'd be devastated. You deserve to know that this wasn't about you not being good enough. This was about Olivia making a choice, a cruel choice. After they hung up, Margaret sat at the kitchen table for a long time. Olivia hadn't just excluded her. She lied to everyone about why. She'd made herself look like the understanding daughter dealing with a difficult mother. Margaret opened Facebook. She'd been avoiding social media, but now she needed to see. She found Olivia's profile and scrolled through recent posts. There, from 2 days ago. Dealing with some family drama right now. Sometimes the people who raised you don't know how to let you grow up. Setting boundaries is hard but necessary. Has self-care, has healthy boundaries, has growth mindset. The comments were full of support. Good for you for putting yourself first. You can't let toxic people control your life, even if they're family. Sometimes loving someone means loving them from a distance. Margaret's hands shook. Olivia was painting her as toxic, as controlling, as someone who needed to be kept at a distance. She clicked on Olivia's Instagram, another post from yesterday. A photo of Olivia looking sad and contemplative, learning that you can't make everyone happy. Some people will always make your choices about them instead of respecting your autonomy. Choose yourself anyway. Margaret read through the comments. Dozens of people supporting Olivia, validating her, calling her brave. No one knew the truth. No one knew that Olivia had excluded her own mother from her wedding and was now playing the victim. Margaret's phone rang. Ruth. Maggie, are you on Facebook right now? Yes. Did you see what she posted? I saw. That manipulative little brat. She's making herself look like the victim and you look like the villain. I know. Are you going to say something post your side? No. What? Why not? Because anything I say will make me look defensive. She's already controlled the narrative. People have already decided I'm the toxic mother who won't let go. Fighting it will just prove her point. So you're just going to let her lie about you. I'm going to let her show everyone who she really is. Eventually, people will see through it. That could take years. Then it takes years. I'm done trying to control what people think of me. Ruth sighed. You're stronger than I am. No, I'm just tired of fighting. As Thursday morning, Margaret's doorbell rang at 7 a.m. She looked through the peephole. Olivia stood there alone. No Ryan. Margaret opened the door. Mom? Olivia's eyes were red. Can I come in? Margaret stepped aside. Olivia walked into the living room and stopped when she saw the boxes everywhere. What's going on? Why are you packing? I'm moving. Moving where? Lake Oswego, a senior living community. Olivia's face went pale. You're moving to a nursing home. It's not a nursing home. It's an active adult community. That's insane. You don't need to live in a place like that. I want to. Why to punish me? Margaret looked at her daughter. Really looked at her. Olivia was 29 years old. Beautiful. Successful. Living the life she wanted. And she still couldn't understand why Margaret would choose to leave. Not everything is about you, Olivia. Then what's this about? You sell the house, move away, block my number. What am I supposed to think? You're supposed to think that I'm living my life by running away, by choosing myself for once. Olivia's eyes filled with tears. I talked to Patricia, Ryan's mom. She told me what she said to you. And I'm sorry I lied to them. I'm sorry I lied to everyone. But you have to understand I was trying to avoid drama. I knew if I told people the truth, everyone would make me feel guilty. So you made me look like the problem instead. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it, Olivia? I meant that it was easier to say you couldn't come than to explain why I didn't want you there. The honesty was like a slap. At least it was honest. Why didn't you want me there? Olivia looked away. Because I knew you'd cry. I knew you'd make it emotional. I knew you'd expect to be involved in everything, and I just wanted one day that was mine. One day. You wanted one day without your mother, so you took every day. The engagement party, the shower, the wedding, you took it all. I had to, Mom. Don't you see? If I invited you to one thing, you'd want to be involved in everything. You'd want to plan it all. You'd make it about you. I made your whole life about you, Olivia. I gave up everything for you. And you think wanting to be at your wedding is making it about me. See? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You always bring up your sacrifices. You always make me feel guilty. I'm not trying to make you feel guilty. I'm trying to make you understand that your actions hurt me. And what about my feelings? What about what I wanted? What you wanted was to erase me from your life, and you got it. Congratulations. Olivia stood up. I came here to try to fix this, to try to make peace, but you're just being stubborn and dramatic. Then leave. What? Leave, Olivia. Go back to your life, your husband, your in-laws, who you apparently respect more than me. That's not fair. Neither is finding out about your daughter's wedding on Instagram. Olivia's face hardened. Fine, I'll go. But don't expect me to come back. If you want a relationship with me, you're going to have to make the first move. I'm done chasing you. Good, because I'm done being chased by someone who never wanted to catch me in the first place. Olivia walked to the door. She stopped with her hand on the knob. I love you, Mom. I know you do, but love isn't enough when there's no respect. Olivia left. Margaret heard her car start and drive away. She went back to packing. Friday, the offers started coming in on the house. Sandra called with updates every few hours. We've got 4 offers already, all above asking. This is incredible. Which one is the fastest close? Cash offer from an investor. We could close in 3 weeks. Take it. By Friday afternoon, the house was under contract. Margaret had 3 weeks to finish packing and move out. She called Riverside and asked if she could move in early. They said yes. She called the movers and moved everything up. She called Ruth. I'm moving next Friday. That's in 8 days. I know. I need to get out of here. Want me to come help? Yes. Ruth arrived Saturday morning with her car full of boxes and packing supplies. They worked side by side all day wrapping dishes and folding clothes and sorting through 30 years of accumulated life. What are you doing with Olivia's stuff? Ruth asked, holding up a box of childhood toys. Storage unit. I'll send her the key. If she wants it, she can get it. If not, I'll donate it in a year. Cold. Practical. They found a photo album from Olivia's childhood. Ruth opened it and started flipping through. Look at this one. Her first day of kindergarten. She was so little. Margaret glanced at it. She was. Don't you feel anything looking at these? I feel sad that the little girl in those photos grew up to be someone who doesn't value me. Ruth closed the album. You've changed. Good. Sunday, Margaret went to Riverside for a pre-move orientation. Patricia from the front desk introduced her to some of the other residents. Dorothy, 72, former teacher. Linda, 68, retired nurse. Frank, 75, widower, former carpenter. Frank shook her hand. His grip was firm. Welcome to the community, Margaret. You're going to love it here. Thank you. Are you joining us for Sunday dinner? It's pot roast tonight. Margaret hesitated. I don't want to impose. You're not imposing. You're joining. Come on. She followed them to the dining hall. She sat at a table with Dorothy, Linda, and Frank. They asked her questions but didn't pry. They talked about movies and books and the trip they were planning to the coast next month. You should come, Dorothy said. It's just a day trip, but the beach is beautiful this time of year. I'd like that. After dinner, Frank walked her to her car. Can I give you some advice? He asked. Sure. Whatever brought you here, whatever you're running from or running to, let yourself start over. Really start over. Don't bring the weight of the old life into the new one. How do you do that? One day at a time, one choice at a time, one moment at a time, where you choose yourself instead of whoever used to define you. Margaret drove home thinking about his words. Choose yourself. She'd spent 65 years choosing everyone else. Choosing herself felt foreign, uncomfortable, but also necessary. Monday morning, her doorbell rang. She opened it to find a process server. Margaret Thompson. Yes, you've been served. He handed her an envelope and left. Margaret opened it with shaking hands. It was from Olivia's lawyer, a cease and desist letter. She read through the legal language. Olivia was demanding that Margaret stop harassing her, stop showing up at her apartment, stop calling from unknown numbers, stop spreading false information about her to family and friends. Margaret hadn't done any of those things. She'd blocked Olivia. She'd stayed away. She'd said nothing to anyone except Ruth. But Olivia was building a legal case that Margaret was the problem. She called David Chen. Mr. Chen, I just received a cease and desist from my daughter's lawyer. It's full of false claims. Do you want to respond? Do I need to? Not really. It's basically a scare tactic, unless she files for a restraining order, which would require proof of actual harassment. You can ignore it. What if she does file? Then we'll deal with it. But Margaret, document everything. Save all texts, emails, call logs. If she's building a false narrative, we need evidence of the truth. After they hung up, Margaret felt something shift. This wasn't just about hurt feelings anymore. This was warfare. And Olivia was playing dirty. Well, Margaret had documentation. Screenshots of the group chat Ashley had sent her. Evidence that Olivia had been planning the wedding for months. Proof that she lied to the Martinezes. She didn't want to use it, but if Olivia forced her hand, she would. Tuesday. Margaret's phone rang. Unknown number. She was about to ignore it when she decided to answer. Mrs. Thompson, this is Janet Miller. You used to clean my house. Mrs. Miller, yes, how are you? I'm well. I heard you're moving. I wanted to call and say goodbye. You were with our family for 8 years. You were wonderful. Thank you. Mrs. Thompson, I also wanted to tell you something. Last week, a young woman came to my door asking questions about you. She said she was concerned about your mental health. She asked if I'd noticed any erratic behavior, any signs of dementia or confusion. Margaret's blood went cold. What did you tell her? I told her you were one of the sharpest, most capable people I'd ever met. And I asked why she was asking. She said she was your daughter, and she was worried about you making rash decisions. Thank you for telling me. Mrs. Thompson, I don't know what's going on between you two, but I wanted you to know that she's telling people you're not mentally well. I thought you should know. After they hung up, Margaret sat down. Her hands were shaking again. Olivia was telling people Margaret had dementia, that she was mentally unwell, that her decision to move was evidence of cognitive decline. She was building a narrative, a story where Olivia was the concerned daughter and Margaret was the sick mother who needed to be managed. Margaret called David Chin again. She's escalating, Margaret told him. She's telling people I have dementia. That's slander. Do you want to pursue legal action? Not yet, but I need to protect myself. What do I do? Get a full medical evaluation, cognitive tests, mental health screening, physical exam, everything. Get it documented that you're completely sound of mind. That way, if she tries to claim incompetence, you have proof. Margaret made an appointment with her doctor for Thursday. Wednesday. Ruth helped her pack the last of the boxes. They worked in silence for a while. Maggie, are you okay? No, but I will be. What Olivia's doing is cruel. I know. Why do you think she's doing it? Margaret stopped packing. Because I finally set a boundary, and she can't handle it. She's used to me accepting whatever she gives. Now that I'm not, she's trying to make me look like the problem. What are you going to do? I'm going to keep moving forward. That's all I can do. Thursday. Margaret went to her doctor. She explained the situation. My daughter is telling people I have cognitive issues. I need documentation that I'm mentally sound. Doctor. Patel looked concerned. Margaret, I've been your doctor for 15 years. You're as sharp as you've ever been. But yes, let's do a full evaluation to protect you. She spent 3 hours doing tests: cognitive function, memory, problem solving, mental health screening, physical exam. Everything came back normal, better than normal for someone her age. Dr. Patel gave her a letter. This states that you are of sound mind and body, fully capable of making your own decisions, and show no signs of cognitive decline or mental illness. Keep this safe. Friday morning, moving day arrived. The movers showed up at 8. By noon, the house was empty except for the furniture that came with it. Margaret walked through the rooms one last time. She felt nothing, no nostalgia, no sadness, just relief. She got in her car and drove to Riverside. Ruth followed in her own car with the last few boxes. Patricia met them at the entrance. "Welcome home, Margaret." Home. Margaret liked the sound of that. She spent the afternoon unpacking. By evening, her new apartment looked lived in, comfortable, hers. Ruth left around 6. "Call me if you need anything." "I will." "I'm proud of you, Maggie." "I'm proud of me too." That night, Margaret sat on her small balcony. She could hear people laughing somewhere in the garden below, music playing faintly, life happening. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. "Mom, it's me." "Don't hang up." Olivia's voice, calling from someone else's phone. "What do you want?" "I heard you moved. I went by the house. There's a sold sign." "Yes." "Where are you?" "Somewhere you can't find me." "Mom, please. Can we talk? Really talk?" "We've talked, Olivia. Multiple times. Nothing changes. Because you won't forgive me." "I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done." "Done with what?" "Done waiting for you to value me. Done accepting crumbs. Done being someone you're ashamed of." "I'm not ashamed of you." "Yes, you are. You told people I have dementia. You sent me a cease and desist. You've spent 2 weeks making me look like the villain. If that's not shame, I don't know what is." Silence. "I didn't tell people you have dementia." "Who said that?" "Multiple people, including Mrs. Miller, who you questioned about my mental state. I was concerned. You were building a narrative, making me look incompetent, so no one would believe my side of the story. That's not what I was doing." "Then what were you doing, Olivia?" No answer. "That's what I thought," Margaret said. "Goodbye, Olivia." "Wait." Margaret hung up. Then she blocked the number. She sat there on the balcony watching the stars come out. She didn't feel victorious. She didn't feel vindicated. She just felt tired. But underneath the tiredness was something else, something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. Margaret Thompson had finally chosen herself, and it turned out that choice was the beginning of everything. Saturday morning, Margaret woke up in her new apartment and forgot where she was for a moment. Then she remembered. Riverside, her new life. She got up and made coffee in her small kitchen. Through the window, she could see residents gathering in the garden. Someone was laughing. She showered and dressed. At 9, she went down to the dining hall for breakfast. Dorothy waved her over to a table. "Margaret, come sit with us. This is Susan. She just moved in last month." Susan was maybe 70, with bright eyes and a warm smile. "Nice to meet you. Dorothy tells me you're starting fresh too." "Something like that." "Good for you. I left my old life 6 months ago. Best decision I ever made." They ate breakfast together. Nobody asked intrusive questions. Nobody demanded her story. They just welcomed her. At 10, Margaret went to her first yoga class. She'd never done yoga in her life. She felt ridiculous trying to follow the instructor's movements. Next to her, Dorothy wobbled and nearly fell. "I think my balance left around the same time my metabolism did," Dorothy whispered. Margaret laughed, actually laughed. When was the last time she laughed? After yoga, Frank caught up with her in the hallway. "How was your first class?" "Humbling." "It gets easier." Hey, we're organizing a trip to the farmer's market tomorrow. Want to come? I'd like that. Margaret spent the rest of Saturday unpacking her last boxes and arranging her apartment. Around 4, her phone rang. Unknown number. She debated not answering. Hello, Mrs. Thompson. This is Detective Sarah Chin from Portland Police. Margaret's heart stopped. Is everything okay? Yes, ma'am. I'm calling because your daughter Olivia filed a missing person report. She claims you've disappeared and she's concerned for your welfare. I need to verify that you're safe and that this move was voluntary. I'm perfectly safe, Detective. I moved voluntarily. I'm 65 years old and of sound mind. I understand. Your daughter seems very worried. She mentioned concerns about your mental state. I had a full medical evaluation 3 days ago. I can provide documentation that I'm completely competent. That won't be necessary. I just needed to confirm you're safe. However, Mrs. Thompson, you might want to contact your daughter. She's quite distressed. She knows how to reach me if she really wants to talk. After hanging up, Margaret called David Chin. Olivia filed a missing person report on me. Did you tell the police you're fine? Yes, but David, she's escalating. First the cease and desist, then the dementia claims, now this. She's trying to paint a picture of an incompetent mother who needs to be controlled. Keep documenting everything. And Margaret, be prepared for her to file for conservatorship. She wouldn't. She might. If she can convince a court you're not competent to make decisions, she can take control of your finances, your living situation, everything. Margaret felt cold. What do I do? Keep that medical evaluation handy. Document every interaction. And consider getting a restraining order if this continues. Sunday morning, Margaret went to the farmer's market with Frank, Dorothy, and Linda. She bought fresh vegetables and flowers. Simple things, normal things, things she'd never had time for before. On the way back, Frank stopped at a small cafe. Coffee my treat. They sat outside. The sun was warm. People walked by with dogs and children. Life was happening all around her. Can I ask you something? Frank said. Sure. Why did you really come to Riverside? You don't have to tell me. But I recognize the look. You're running from something. My daughter. Frank nodded. My son and I haven't spoken in 4 years. He thinks I should have left more money to him in his mother's will, said I was selfish for keeping it, for using it to live my own life. What did you do? I stopped trying to make him understand. Some people will never see us as anything more than what we can give them. That's exactly it, Margaret said. I was Olivia's mother when it was convenient, when she needed something, but when I needed her, nothing. So you left. So I left. Good for you. When Margaret got back to her apartment, there were 3 messages on her phone, all from numbers she didn't recognize, all from Olivia using different people's phones. She deleted them without listening. Monday, Margaret went to her first painting class. She'd never painted before. The instructor, a woman named Maria, helped her set up. Don't worry about making it perfect, Maria said. Just put something on the canvas. Margaret dipped her brush in blue paint and made a stroke. Then another. Then another. By the end of the class, she'd painted something that looked vaguely like water. It wasn't good, but it was hers. That afternoon, Patricia from the front desk called her apartment. Margaret, you have a visitor. Your daughter is here. Margaret's stomach dropped. I don't want to see her. I told her that might be the case. She's insisting. She says it's urgent. She has her husband with her and two other people. They're saying they won't leave until you come down. Call security. I already did. They're on their way. But I wanted you to know what's happening. Margaret went to her balcony. From there, she could see the front entrance. Olivia stood there with Ryan. Next to them was a woman Margaret didn't recognize and a man in a suit. The man was holding a clipboard. Margaret called David Chin. She's here, at Riverside, with a lawyer. Don't go down there. Don't engage. Let security handle it. Margaret watched from her balcony. Security approached. There was talking. Animates gestures from Olivia. More talking. Then the security guard pointed toward the street. Olivia shook her head. The security guard said something firmer. Finally, Olivia and her group left. Margaret's phone rang. Olivia's actual number this time. Margaret didn't have it blocked on this device. Against her better judgment, she answered. Mom, what the hell? You won't even see me. You showed up with a lawyer, Olivia. What did you expect? I brought the lawyer because I'm filing for conservatorship. You're clearly not making rational decisions. I'm making perfectly rational decisions. I just moved to a senior living community. Thousands of people do it every year. You sold the family home without telling me. It was my home, not yours. You moved out 5 years ago. You're spending your money recklessly. I'm spending my money on my own life. Since when do I need your permission? Since you started acting like you've lost your mind. Margaret laughed. It came out bitter. I've lost my mind, Olivia. I'm the most clear-headed I've been in years. You're the one who excluded her mother from her wedding and is now trying to control her life. I'm trying to protect you. From what? From living my own life, from making my own choices, from not centering everything around you. That's not fair. You're right. What's not fair is filing a missing person report on your mother because she moved. What's not fair is telling people I have dementia. What's not fair is showing up at my home with a lawyer. If you just talk to me like a normal person, I tried to talk to you multiple times. You told me I was being dramatic. You told me to get over it. You told me I was making your wedding about me. So I stopped talking. And now you can't handle it. Mom, please, can we just meet somewhere, just you and me? No Ryan, no lawyers, just us. Margaret wanted to say yes. The old Margaret would have said yes. But the new Margaret knew better. No, Olivia. Because every time I give you an inch, you take everything. I'm done giving you chances to hurt me. So that's it. You're just going to cut me out forever. I'm not cutting you out. I'm just not letting you in until you prove you've changed. And filing for conservatorship isn't proving anything except that you're vindictive. I'm withdrawing the conservatorship. Margaret stopped. What? I'm withdrawing it. Right now. On this call. I'll tell the lawyer to drop it. Why? Because I don't want to lose you. Olivia's voice cracked. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm really, truly sorry. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you, and I'm sorry. Margaret felt tears coming. I want to believe you. Then believe me. Give me a chance. Please. One chance, Olivia. One. And if you mess this up, we're done. Permanently. I understand. Can we meet tomorrow? There's a coffee shop 2 blocks from Riverside, Collins Cafe. Tomorrow at 2. I'll be there. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. After they hung up, Margaret sat on her couch, shaking. She'd just given Olivia another chance. Was she being stupid? Was she falling back into old patterns? She called Ruth. I'm meeting with Olivia tomorrow. Why? Because she apologized. She withdrew the conservatorship. She sounded genuine. Maggie, she's manipulating you. Maybe. But what if she's not? What if she really is sorry? Then she'll prove it with actions, not words. Don't let one conversation undo everything you've built. Tuesday afternoon, Margaret walked to Colin's Cafe. She got there early, ordered coffee, sat at a table near the window. At exactly 2, Olivia walked in, alone. She looked tired. Her eyes were puffy like she'd been crying. She sat down across from Margaret. "Hi, Mom." "Hi. Thank you for meeting me. You said you had something to say, so say it." Olivia took a deep breath. "I've been seeing a therapist since last week. She helped me realize some things about myself, about how I've been treating you." "What things?" "That I've been ashamed of my background, that I was worried Ryan's family would judge me if they knew my mom was a housekeeper, that I've been prioritizing their approval over your feelings. And I realize now how messed up that is. You worked hard your whole life. You gave me everything, and I repaid you by being embarrassed of you. I'm so sorry, Mom." Margaret felt her throat tighten. "Keep going." "I lied to you about the wedding being last minute. I planned it for months. I just didn't want you there because I was afraid you'd embarrass me in front of Ryan's family. And that's disgusting. That's horrible. I'm ashamed of who I've become." "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because my therapist made me realize I was about to lose the most important person in my life over stupid pride and fear. And because Patricia Martinez called me." "Ryan's mother." "Yes, she told me she found out the truth, that I'd lied about why you weren't at the wedding. She was horrified, Mom. She said if I didn't fix this, she'd never forgive me. She said you were worth 10 of me." Margaret felt something crack. She said that, yes, and she was right. You are worth 10 of me. You're worth 100 of me. Olivia, I want to believe you, but you've hurt me so badly. I know, and I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I want to try to earn your forgiveness, if you'll let me. However you need me to. If you need space, I'll give you space. If you need me to prove myself over time, I'll do that. If you need me to go to therapy with you, I'll do that too." Margaret wiped her eyes. "I need you to mean it. Not just say it. Mean it." "I do mean it." "Then prove it. Not with words, with actions, over time, consistently." "I will. I promise." They talked for another hour. Olivia told her about therapy, about realizing she'd been repeating patterns she'd learned from watching her friends treat their parents, about understanding that love isn't enough without respect. When they left, Olivia hugged Margaret. "Can I call you just to check in?" "You can call me, but I'm not dropping everything to answer anymore. I have my own life now." "I understand. That's fair." Margaret walked back to Riverside feeling lighter, but also cautious. She wanted to believe Olivia had changed, but she'd learned the hard way that people show you who they are through actions, not words. Wednesday. Margaret went to book club. They were discussing a novel about a woman who left her family to find herself. "Do you think she was selfish?" Susan asked the group. "No," Margaret said. "I think she was brave. Sometimes leaving is the only way to find out who you are." "But what about her children?" another woman asked. "Didn't she owe them more? She gave them everything for 40 years, Margaret said. At some point, doesn't she get to give something to herself? The group went quiet. Then Dorothy spoke. Yes, she does. We all do. Thursday was ballroom dancing. Mr. Sanchez, the instructor, was patient and kind. He paired Margaret with Frank. Have you danced before? Frank asked as they practiced the foxtrot. Not since my wedding, 37 years ago. You're doing great for someone out of practice. I keep stepping on your feet. I've had worse partners. Trust me. By the end of the class, Margaret was breathless and sweating and smiling. Actually smiling. That evening, Olivia called. Margaret almost didn't answer, but she did. Hi, Mom. I'm not calling to ask anything. I just wanted to say I love you. I love you too. That's all. I'll let you go. Have a good night. She hung up without demanding anything, without asking for forgiveness or validation, just a simple call to say I love you. It was such a small thing, but it felt significant. Friday. Margaret's phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Margaret Thompson? Yes. Mrs. Thompson, this is Jessica from Willamette Weekly. I'm a reporter. I'm doing a story about adult children who abandon their parents. Your daughter's friend Ashley reached out to me about your situation. Would you be willing to talk? Margaret's heart started pounding. How did you get my number? Ashley provided it. She thought your story deserved to be told. I'm not interested. Mrs. Thompson, your story could help other people in similar situations. Adult child abandonment is a growing issue. I said, I'm not interested. Margaret hung up. She immediately called Ashley. Why did you give my number to a reporter? Mrs. Thompson, I'm so sorry. I thought you'd want people to know what Olivia did. I thought it would help. You thought it would help to publicly shame my daughter. I thought it would hold her accountable. Ashley, I appreciate you defending me, but I don't want this to become public. This is between me and Olivia. I'm sorry. I didn't think it through. I'll call the reporter back and tell her to drop it. After they hung up, Margaret called Olivia. A reporter contacted me about us. What who? Someone from Willamette Weekly. Ashley gave them my number. Oh my God. Mom, I'm so sorry. I'll call Ashley right now and tell her to make it stop. I already did. But Olivia, this is what happens when you make our private issues public on social media. Other people think they have the right to get involved. You're right. I've been taking down all my posts about boundaries and family drama. I realize now how manipulative that was. Margaret softened. Thank you for doing that. I should have done it weeks ago. I'm trying, Mom. I really am. Saturday morning, Margaret woke up to her phone ringing. Ruth. Maggie, you're on Facebook. What? Someone posted your story in a group about difficult family relationships. It's going viral. Thousands of shares. Margaret felt sick. Who posted it? I don't know, but they used your real name, Olivia's name, everything. Margaret opened Facebook on her laptop. There it was, her entire story, the wedding exclusion, the lies, the conservatorship attempt, everything. And it was getting shared everywhere. People were commenting, calling Olivia horrible names, posting angry reactions. Someone had even found Olivia's Instagram and was leaving cruel comments on her photos. Margaret called Olivia immediately. Did you see Facebook? Yes. Olivia was crying. I'm getting death threats, Mom. People are sending me horrible messages. Someone found my work email and sent a message to my boss. I didn't do this. I swear I didn't do this. I know you didn't. but it's out there now. I can't make it stop. Delete your social media. All of it. I already did. But people screenshot everything. It's everywhere. Margaret felt awful. She'd wanted Olivia to understand her pain, but she'd never wanted this. I'm going to figure out who posted it. I'm going to make them take it down. Mom, it doesn't matter. It's already out there. The damage is done. After they hung up, Margaret called David Chin. Someone posted my story online. It's viral. Olivia's getting death threats. Do you know who posted it? No, but I need to find out and make them stop. David sighed. Margaret, once something's online, it's almost impossible to completely remove, but I can send cease and desist letters to anyone continuing to share your personal information. Margaret spent the rest of Saturday trying to contain the damage. She called Ashley, who swore she hadn't posted it. She called Ruth, who promised to help track down the source. By evening, they'd figured it out. Helen Crawford, her old neighbor, had posted the story in a Facebook group. She'd done it to support Margaret, to show people what a terrible daughter Olivia was. Margaret called Helen. Take it down. Now. But Margaret, people need to know what she did to you. Helen, this is my life, not your entertainment. Take it down or I'll have my lawyer send you a cease and desist. I was trying to help. You weren't helping. You were gossiping. Take it down. Helen took the post down, but it was too late. It had been shared thousands of times. Screenshots were everywhere. The story had taken on a life of its own. Sunday morning, Margaret got a call from Patricia Martinez. Margaret, I saw what's happening online. I'm so sorry. This must be awful for you and Olivia. It is. I called to tell you that Gerald and I spoke with Olivia yesterday. We told her that we're here for both of you, that we consider you family too. I hope that means something. It means everything, Patricia. Thank you. Family doesn't abandon family, Margaret. Remember that. After they hung up, Margaret sat on her balcony. She thought about everything that had happened in the past month. The wedding, the lies, the hurt, the decision to leave, the new life at Riverside, Olivia's apology, and now this public nightmare. Her phone rang. Olivia, Mom? Yeah. Can I come see you? In person. I know it's short notice, but I really need to talk to you. Okay, come to Collins Cafe in an hour. An hour later, they sat across from each other again. Olivia looked exhausted. I quit Instagram, Facebook, all of it. I can't handle the hate. I'm sorry this happened. It's not your fault. It's mine. I created this situation by treating you the way I did. This is just the consequences coming home. What did your work say? They were surprisingly understanding. My boss is a single mom. She said she understood complicated family dynamics. That's good. Mom, I've been thinking about everything, and I want to ask you something. What? Would you be willing to try family therapy with me? Real therapy, where we actually work through everything. Margaret looked at her daughter, really looked at her. Olivia was 29 years old. She'd made horrible choices. She'd hurt Margaret in ways that might never fully heal, but she was also trying, actually trying. Yes, Margaret said. I'll try therapy with you. Olivia started crying. Thank you. Thank you so much. But Olivia, you need to understand something. I'm not coming back to my old life. I'm not moving back to that house. I'm not going to be the mother who waits around for you to need her. I know. I don't want you to be that person anymore either. I want you to be happy, even if that means I'm not the center of your life. Good, because my life at Riverside, I like it. I have friends. I have activities. I have purpose. I'm not giving that up. I don't want you to give it up. I want to be part of your new life, if you'll let me. Margaret reached across the table and took Olivia's hand. We'll see, one day at a time. And for the first time in months, that felt like enough. 2 weeks later, Margaret sat in Dr. Sarah Kim's office with Olivia. The therapist was younger than Margaret expected, maybe 40, with kind eyes and a notepad. So, Margaret, Olivia, thank you both for coming. Let's start with why you're here. Olivia spoke first. I excluded my mother from my wedding. I lied about it. I tried to control her when she moved away, and I almost lost her forever because of my choices. Dr. Kim nodded and turned to Margaret. And you, Margaret, I'm here because my daughter apologized, and I want to believe her, but I'm scared of going back to how things were. What were things like before? I gave everything. She took everything, and it was never enough. Dr. Kim wrote something down. Olivia, what do you think about that? Olivia's eyes filled with tears. She's right. I took her for granted. I took her love for granted. I thought she'd always be there no matter how I treated her. And now I know I was wrong, and I'm trying to do better. They spent an hour talking about boundaries, about expectations, about the years of resentment that had built up on both sides. It was painful. Margaret cried twice. Olivia cried more. At the end, Dr. Kim gave them homework. Margaret, I want you to write down what you need from Olivia, not what you want, what you need. Olivia, I want you to write down what you're willing to give, and then we'll see if those two lists match up. That night, Margaret sat at her small kitchen table and made her list. It was shorter than she expected. Respect, honesty, regular communication that doesn't feel obligatory, inclusion in important life events, recognition that I have my own life and priorities, no more lying to others about me. She looked at the list. These were basic things, the bare minimum of any healthy relationship, and somehow, for years, she'd accepted less. Thursday, Margaret went to dance class. Frank was her partner again. You look lighter, he said as they practiced the waltz. I feel lighter. Your daughter's situation. We're trying therapy. I don't know if it'll work, but at least we're trying. That's all you can do. After class, Frank walked her back to her apartment. Margaret, can I ask you something? Sure. Would you like to have dinner with me sometime? Just the two of us? Margaret stopped walking. Frank, are you asking me on a date? I guess I am. You can say no. I won't be offended. Margaret thought about it. She was 65 years old. She hadn't been on a date in 37 years. The thought was terrifying. Yes, she heard herself say. I'd like that. Frank smiled. Saturday. There's a good Italian place downtown. Saturday works. After he left, Margaret called Ruth. I have a date. A date with who? His name is Frank. He's a resident here. He's kind and funny, and he asked me to dinner. Oh my God, Maggie. That's wonderful. I'm terrified. Good. Being terrified means you're living. Saturday evening, Margaret changed outfits 3 times before settling on a simple blue dress. Frank picked her up at 6. He wore a button-down shirt and slacks, and he smelled like aftershave. They went to the Italian restaurant. They talked about their kids, their losses, their lives. Frank had 2 sons who rarely called. His wife had died 6 years ago. He'd spent those 6 years just existing until he moved to Riverside. Moving there saved me, he said. Gave me a reason to wake up in the morning. I know the feeling. When he drove her back, he walked her to her door. I had a really nice time tonight, Margaret. Me too. Can we do it again? I'd like that. He didn't try to kiss her. He just squeezed her hand and left. Margaret went inside feeling like a teenager. When was the last time someone had made her feel special just for being herself? Sunday morning. Margaret's phone rang. Olivia, Mom, I finished my homework. Can we meet before therapy tomorrow? Sure. Collins Cafe at noon. Perfect. See you then. At noon, they sat across from each other. Olivia pulled out a piece of paper covered in her handwriting. I wrote down what I'm willing to give. Do you want to read yours first? No. You go first. Olivia cleared her throat. Respect for your choices and your life. Honesty even when it's uncomfortable. Weekly phone calls, not because I need something, but because I want to connect. Inclusion in major life events with your input valued. Acknowledgement that you are your own person with your own priorities. And no more public posts about our relationship without your permission. Margaret pulled out her own list. Respect. Honesty. Regular communication that doesn't feel obligatory. Inclusion in important life events. Recognition that I have my own life and priorities. No more lying to others about me. They looked at each other. The lists were almost identical. We match, Olivia said softly. We do. Mom, can I ask you something? What? How do I make up for what I did? How do I prove I've changed? You don't make up for it. You can't. What's done is done. You just do better going forward, consistently, over time. And if I mess up, then we'll deal with it. But Olivia, if you go back to how things were, we're done. I mean that. I understand. Monday's therapy session was harder. Dr. Kim pushed them both. Margaret, you say you want Olivia to prove she's changed, but are you willing to give her the opportunity? Or are you going to hold every mistake against her? I don't know, Margaret said honestly. And Olivia, you say you want your mother's forgiveness, but are you willing to do the work, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient? Yes, I'll do whatever it takes. Good. Because rebuilding trust after this level of betrayal takes years, not weeks. Are you both prepared for that? Margaret and Olivia looked at each other and nodded. Over the next 3 weeks, Olivia called every Sunday evening. The calls were short at first, awkward, but they started to feel more natural. Olivia told Margaret about work, about Ryan, about small things. Margaret told her about Riverside, about dance class, about Frank. You're dating someone, Olivia sounded surprised. Is that a problem? No, it's great. I'm happy for you. It's just weird thinking of you as someone who dates. I'm 65, not dead, Olivia laughed. You're right. Tell me about him. Margaret told her about Frank, about his kindness, his sense of humor, how he made her feel seen. It felt strange talking to her daughter like this, like they were friends. not just mother and daughter. I'm glad you're happy, Mom. Really glad. And 1 month after starting therapy, Margaret got a call from Patricia Martinez. Margaret, Gerald, and I would like to invite you to dinner. Just the four of us. You, us, and our conscience about how this whole situation has unfolded. I appreciate that, Patricia, but you don't owe me anything. We absolutely do. We were part of the problem even if we didn't know it. Please come. Saturday at 7. Margaret agreed. Saturday evening, Frank drove her to the Martinez house. It was in the West Hills, the expensive part of Portland. Frank waited in the car. "Are you sure you don't want me to come in?" he asked. "I need to do this alone." Gerald Martinez answered the door. He was tall, distinguished, with kind eyes. "Margaret, thank you for coming. Please come in." Patricia was in the kitchen. She hugged Margaret like they were old friends. "I'm so glad you're here. Dinner's almost ready." They sat at the dining table. The food was Mexican homemade delicious. They talked about the restaurant business, about Patricia's years teaching about Margaret's life at Riverside. "I owe you an apology," Gerald said halfway through dinner. "We should have questioned why you weren't at the wedding. We should have insisted Olivia include you. We failed you, and I'm sorry." "We both are," Patricia added. "We raised 4 children. We know how complicated family can be, but excluding a parent is never okay." "Thank you for saying that. It means more than you know." "Margaret," Patricia said, "I want you to know that we consider you family. You're Olivia's mother. That makes you our family too, and we'll treat you as such from now on." Margaret felt tears coming. "Thank you." When Frank picked her up an hour later, she was smiling. "How'd it go?" "Better than I expected. They're good people." "That's good. Hey, want to come back to my place? I made cookies earlier. Chocolate chip." Margaret laughed. "You made cookies. I'm a man of many talents." And they went to Frank's apartment. It was bigger than hers, with photos of his sons and late wife on the walls. They ate cookies and talked until midnight. "Can I tell you something?" Frank said. "Anything. I haven't felt this way about someone since my wife died. You make me feel alive again. You make me feel the same way. Is that okay? Given everything with your daughter. Yes, it's more than okay. For the first time in my life, I'm choosing happiness, and you make me happy." He took her hand. "You make me happy too." 6 weeks after starting therapy, Margaret's phone rang at 7 in the morning. Olivia. "Mom, are you awake?" "I am now." "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. Something's right. Can I come over? Like right now?" "Olivia, I'm at Riverside. You can't just show up." "Please, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Margaret got dressed quickly. She met Olivia in the visitors' lounge. Olivia looked excited and nervous and like she might explode. "What's going on?" "I'm pregnant." Margaret's world stopped. "You're pregnant?" "Yes. 8 weeks. We found out yesterday. I wanted to tell you in person. I wanted you to be the first to know outside of Ryan." Margaret didn't know what to feel. Joy, fear, hope, caution. "Are you happy?" she asked. "I'm terrified, but yes, I'm happy. Mom, I want you to be part of this. I want this baby to know its grandmother, really know you." "What does that look like to you?" "It looks like doctor's appointments if you want to come, shopping for baby things together, you being at the hospital when the baby's born, being involved, really involved, not just invited out of obligation. Margaret felt tears coming. I want that too. There's one more thing. Ryan and I talked. We want to know if you'd be willing to be in the delivery room, not just in the waiting room. Actually, there. Margaret started crying. Yes, I'll be there. Olivia hugged her. Thank you. And Mom, I'm going to do better this time. I'm going to make sure this baby grows up knowing how lucky they are to have you. Over the next few months, Olivia did exactly what she promised. She called regularly. She invited Margaret to doctor's appointments. They went shopping for baby clothes together. She included Margaret in every decision, every milestone, every moment. Margaret watched Olivia grow, watched her belly expand, watched her become a mother herself, and slowly, carefully, she started to trust again. One afternoon, 3 months into the pregnancy, Olivia showed up at Riverside with paint samples. We're doing the nursery. I want your opinion. What color should we paint it? They spent an hour looking at different shades of yellow and green and white. Olivia genuinely wanted Margaret's input, not just to be polite, but because she valued her opinion. Mom, can I tell you something? Always. Therapy made me realize how much I hurt you, but being pregnant made me understand it. The thought of my child treating me the way I treated you makes me physically sick. I don't know how you survived it. I survived it because I loved you, even when it hurt. I don't deserve your love. Maybe not, but you have it anyway. That's what mothers do. Olivia started crying. I'm going to do better with this baby. I'm going to teach them that grandmothers are precious, that family is precious, that you don't get unlimited chances to hurt people good, because this baby is lucky to have you as a mother. You've grown so much. I had to. I almost lost everything because of my pride. 7 months into the pregnancy, Margaret got a call from Dr. Kim. Margaret, I wanted to tell you personally, this is my last session with you and Olivia. You've both done remarkable work. You don't need me anymore. Are you sure? Positive. You've rebuilt your relationship. You've set healthy boundaries. You've learned to communicate. My job here is done. After they hung up, Margaret sat on her balcony. She thought about the woman she'd been 8 months ago, broken, waiting, accepting anything. That woman was gone. In her place was someone new, someone who knew her worth, someone who had her own life, someone who understood that love and respect go together. Her phone rang. Frank. Hey, beautiful. Want to grab dinner tonight? I'd love to. Great. I'll pick you up at 6. Oh, and Margaret. I love you. Margaret's breath caught. I love you too. It was the first time she'd said those words to someone in 30 years, and they felt right. The baby came on a Wednesday. Olivia called Margaret at 4 in the morning. Mom, my water broke. We're heading to the hospital. Can you meet us? I'll be there in 30 minutes. Margaret threw on clothes and called Frank. He drove her to the hospital. She ran inside and found Olivia's room. Ryan stood beside the bed looking terrified. Olivia was breathing through a contraction. When she saw Margaret, she reached out her hand. Mom, you're here. I'm here, baby. I'm right here. Margaret stayed through the whole labor. 13 hours. She held Olivia's hand. She wiped her forehead. She told her she was doing great. She was there for every moment. At 5:47 p.m., Olivia gave birth to a baby girl, 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfect. The nurse put the baby in Olivia's arms. Olivia looked at her daughter with wonder. Hi, sweet girl. Hi, I'm your mama. Then she looked at Margaret. Mom, do you want to hold her? Margaret took her granddaughter in her arms. The baby opened her eyes and looked right at her. Hi, Margaret whispered. I'm your grandma, and I'm going to love you forever. Olivia smiled through tears. We picked a name. If you approve. What is it? Margaret rose. Maggie for short. After you. Margaret started crying. Full tears. Happy tears. Healing tears. She's perfect. Absolutely perfect. That night, Margaret sat in the rocking chair beside Olivia's hospital bed, holding baby Maggie. Olivia was sleeping. Ryan had gone home to shower. It was just Margaret and her granddaughter. Your mama hurt me, Margaret whispered to the sleeping baby. She hurt me so badly, I thought I'd never recover. But she's trying now, really trying. And I think she's going to be a wonderful mother to you. The baby made a small sound, and I'm going to be here for you, for all the important moments, the first steps, the first words, the school plays, all of it, because you deserve a grandmother who shows up. Frank texted, How are you? Do you need anything? Margaret smiled and texted back, I'm perfect. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. 3 days later, Margaret visited Olivia at home. The house was chaos. Diapers everywhere. Baby clothes in piles. Olivia looked exhausted but happy. Mom, thank you for coming. Ryan's at work. I'm losing my mind. Can you help me? Margaret spent the afternoon with Olivia and Maggie. She showed Olivia how to swaddle, how to burp, how to soothe, all the things she'd learned 29 years ago with Olivia. I don't know how you did this alone, Olivia said. I have Ryan, and I'm still overwhelmed. You do what you have to do. That's what mothers do. You're an amazing mother. I'm sorry it took me so long to see that. You see it now. That's what matters. Before Margaret left, Olivia hugged her tight. I love you, Mom. Thank you for not giving up on me. I love you too, baby. Always have, always will. 2 months later, Margaret sat on her balcony at Riverside watching the sunset. Frank was beside her. Dorothy and Linda and Susan were having tea in the garden below. Baby Maggie was asleep in her carrier on Margaret's lap. Her phone buzzed. A text from Olivia. Thank you for watching Maggie today. You're the best mom and the best grandma. Love you. Margaret smiled. The relationship with Olivia wasn't perfect. They still had hard conversations in therapy. They still had moments of tension, but it was real now, built on honesty and respect and boundaries. Frank squeezed her hand. Happy, happier than I've been in years. Good, because you deserve to be happy. Margaret looked at her life, at Riverside, her home, at Frank, her partner, at baby Maggie, her granddaughter, at the version of herself she'd become. She'd lost so much. Her old life, her old home, the daughter she thought she knew. But in losing those things, she'd found something better. She'd found herself. Margaret Thompson was 65 years old. She'd spent most of her life being somebody's wife, somebody's mother, somebody's employee, defined by what she could give others. Now she was just Margaret, and that was enough, more than enough. That was everything. She'd learned the hardest lesson life can teach, that sometimes The people you love most will hurt you worst. That sacrifice without respect becomes martyrdom. That you can't love someone into valuing you. But she'd also learned something more important, that it's never too late to choose yourself, that setting boundaries isn't cruelty, that walking away can be an act of love. Olivia had almost lost her mother, and in almost losing her, she'd learned to treasure her. Margaret had almost lost herself, and in almost losing herself, she'd found her strength. The sun set over Portland. The baby stirred and opened her eyes. Margaret looked down at her granddaughter and smiled. This was redemption, not perfect, not without scars, but real. And real was all Margaret had ever wanted.